Hello everyone. In this session, we are going to understand the concept of inheritance. In Java, we can inherit the features of a class into another class. The important concept behind it is the reusability. Let us say we want to create some code and the part of the code is already created in some other class. So instead of recreating it as part of my new class, what I can do is I can reuse it from whatever class it is already created. And to do that, I simply need to inherit from the class. So this is the concept of inheritance. Whenever you inherit from a class, the features of the class you can use inside your class as that of they are created in your class itself. So let us understand this concept by taking some examples. Let's go to Eclipse and let's create a class called as say class 1 simple. And in this class 1, I'm just going to create two numbers, say int num1 and int num2, and I'm going to create a method public void do addition. Okay, simple method do addition, and what it is going to do is just going to add num1 and num2. Okay, just for example. Okay, a simple class which has two integers num1 num2, and there is a method which does the addition of these two numbers. Okay. Now let's create another class, say class 2, and what do we want to say is we want to say that class 2 inherits from class 1. Class 2 inherits. The way we can mention it is by using the word extends. When we say that class 2 extends class 1, it means class 1 becomes the parent, class 2 becomes the child, class 1 becomes the superclass, class 2 becomes the subclass. So whatever is there with the parent gets inherited to child. So currently whatever is there with the parent is the two integer variables, a method. Now that becomes available for the child also. Let us say child creates another method called as do subtraction. And what it is going to do simply is going to subtract num2 from num1. It is simply saying subtraction is num1 minus num2. Now, very important point to note here is these two fields, num1 and num2. In class 2, we are not creating those fields. They are created inside class 1, but as we are inheriting from class 1 into class 2, we can use those fields here as if they are declared in the class 2 itself. That's the importance. So that is what when we say that we inherit from one class into another class, the features of the class, features in the sense the fields, the methods of the class can be used inside class where we are inheriting. So similarly, this num1 and num2, which are the member variables of the class, fields of the class, can be used in the class 2. Okay, now let's create a main method. So let's create another class that has a main method, and let's create the object of class 2. So class 2, say c2 is equal to new class 2, and with respect to class 2, now let us set the values for num1. Num1 is equal to say 100 and c2 dot num2 is equal to say 50, and then let's call the methods. Now with respect to c2, I can call the method addition also, and with respect to c2 I can call the method subtraction also. Subtraction is fine, can be understood because it is part of the c2 only, the class 2 only, but point to be noted is we are able to call do addition which is from the class 1, and that is because we are inheriting from class 1 inside class 2. So when we create the object of class 2, the methods of class 1 became available to us. So that is the benefit of inheritance. So intelligence, whatever is created with the parent becomes readily available for the child. So for child, it's only necessary to create whatever new things to be created in the class. Whatever is already there, child can reuse from the parent class. And when we run this program, it is say addition is 150 and subtraction is 50, which is fine. Okay, a simple example of inheritance. Let us take another example. Let us create a class called as polygon. This is one of the classic examples for inheritance. In the polygon, let us say let's create two double fields. So double base and another double as the height and base of the polygon. And also let's create a method, public void. And what does it do is it simply sets the value of base and height. So user can set some value for base and height, and whatever values user set, those are getting assigned to the base and height of this class. So I'm going to say set base and height, and let's create two arguments here. One is double base and double height. So this dot base will take the value from base, and this dot height will take the value from height. Two things, the fields and one method. Now let's create another class which is called as triangle class. And inside the triangle class, let us say triangle extends from polygon. Now, as soon as we say that triangle extends from polygon, polygon becomes the parent, triangle becomes the child, polygon becomes the superclass, triangle becomes the subclass. So whatever is there with the superclass gets readily available for the child class. So I no need to create these base and height fields in the triangle. I can readily use them inside any other method. So inside the triangle class, let's create a method, say public void calculate area, and let's calculate and display the area. So something like area of triangle is 0.5 into base into height. So this method will calculate the area of the triangle. It's something like base into height by 2. Now let's create another class called as a rectangle. And this rectangle class also we say that it extends from polygon. And in this rectangle class as well, let's create a method that is calculate area, and we will say area of rectangle is base into height. So we have three classes over here, polygon, triangle, and rectangle. Polygon is kind of a parent class. It has two variables, one method, base and height, and triangle and rectangle both extends from polygon. Okay, now whenever we say extends, there is always a relationship. So when we say triangle extends polygon or rectangle extends polygon, we see the relationship something like rectangle is a polygon, triangle is a polygon. Not necessarily reverse is true. Polygon not always is a triangle. Polygon can be triangle, fine, but polygon not always is a triangle. So reverse is not true, but a subclass is always a parent class. A triangle always is a polygon. Rectangle always is a polygon. So that's the is a relationship. So whenever we extend in the inheritance, there is a relationship from child to parent. Now let's create another class that has the main method. Let's call it as polymain with the main method. And inside the polymain, let's create the object of triangle and rectangle class. So triangle T1 is equal to new triangle, and rectangle R1 is equal to new. So two objects, object of triangle class and object of rectangle class. Now with the help of triangle class's object T1, we can use the method from the parent to set the base and height. So let us say base is 10 point something and height is 20 point something. And similarly for rectangle, when we call base and height, same base and height method from the parent is available for the object of rectangles class. Say base is 20 point something, height is 34 point something. And of course, the methods that is calculate area from triangle and calculate area from rectangle are also available for the respective objects, which we can call. So T1 dot calculate area and R1 dot calculate area. So it's a mix and match of the intelligence that is there with the parent and child. The parent is providing the method that is set base and height, and the calculate area is coming from the children. So when we create the object of triangle and rectangle, those objects can use the method with the parent of the class and the class itself. So when we execute this program, we can see the area of triangle is this and area of rectangle is this. Okay, simple concept. How we can inherit from one class into another class. The simple word that we need to use is extends. Okay, so we'll see some more examples and concepts related to inheritance in the coming sessions. Thank you so much.